In this episode, I'm going to talk about one of the interesting AI terminology which is widely used at any Copilot Studio level, which is RAG. RAG is one of the interesting keywords that we have heard in most of the AI model. Now, what is the real definition of RAG and how it is different than the traditional AI and how it is leveraging at the Copilot Studio level? Let's try to explore that end to end with me. So generally RAG means Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Now, how it is different than the traditional AI search? Let's get started with that one. So let's talk about if you are just having LLM and if you are making the search on that, how the traditional AI search is working into the actual large language model. Let's say for an example, LLM is trained on certain billions of parameters. Now with a traditional AI, when it makes the query, basically it relies only on your trained data. So you will not get the information from the latest data and you cannot access your own private data over here because LLM is trained on certain set of parameters and based on that it will try to give you the answer. Sometimes it will become overconfident to give you the answer, but the answer is incorrect. Maybe you have faced this type of problem with the earlier version of the ChatGPT as well, that when you try to make some functions for Power Apps, it just gives you some incorrect answer and incorrection as well with confidence, right? So this was the problem with the traditional AI search when it uses only LLM to answer the thing and it doesn't cover up the latest data or any of your private data or your own custom data in place, right? So basically this is increasing hallucination, outdated information and no source of truth in this particular case. Now in this case, to solve this problem, one of the interesting concept come up into picture which is called as a RAG. So RAG means Retrieval Augmented Generation. Now how exactly it works, let's understand that. So let's say for an example, whenever you make any query to your chat agent or agentic AI or let's say from your Copilot, basically first what it will do is search on your own data. Your own data means the data that you have filled as a knowledge source. So it can be your SharePoint, it can be your Microsoft 365, it can be your Dataverse, it can be your Azure SQL, it can be anything, right? Basically it first searching on your data and then generate the answer. Okay, so RAG is happening into 3-step process. First, search is happening, then thinking process is happening, and the final stage is answering process. So basically it retrieves the relevant information from your own data, augment the prompt with your data, and finally generate a grounded means more accurate response for you. So AI answer is based on the fact, not on imagination. Okay, so this is like a literal meaning of RAG. Now the question arises that how any agent will work with RAG or without RAG. What kind of answer difference you will be able to see there. Okay, let's try to understand that thing. So generally when you are building any AI agent and let's say you are not using RAG, means you are not using any knowledge sources, at the time AI only knows what is trained on. So data can be outdated in that situation and answers can sound confident but may be wrong. So you can face certain set of hallucination problem with your AI agent that you are building. But when you have RAG implemented within your agent, at the time AI uses live trusted sources and answers are more traceable and much more safe for the business use cases. Okay, so this is what the difference that you will be able to see without RAG versus with RAG. Now how the RAG works, right? Almost like a step-by-step process we have seen with the previous example, but let me just give you one more example over here. So generally how the answer looks different when you are using RAG versus not using RAG. I'm just giving you one simple example over here, that let's say for an example, when you ask me a question that what is the refund policy for your sales contract. So what happened here is, in case RAG is enabled, it will give you that, okay, it will search throughout your document like SharePoint, PDF, Dataverse, whatever you have trained on that. It uses embedding and vector search on that, and only the most relevant chunks are picked from there and giving you the answer using the LLM. So finally, no guessing, and finally the grounded answer is given to you at that point of time. So it will give you with the reference link that, okay, this is how it usually works and this is how it usually done, right? Now the question arises that how RAG can be implemented and what are the use cases where this is the most important scenario to implement. So any kind of document Q&A, if you are preparing, if you are building any kind of HR Copilot, legal assistance, healthcare system, customer agents, Copilot Studio, custom agents with certain set of documents, PDF files, structured data sources. At the time, RAG is something which is commonly used. Now, most of you have already used the RAG, but at the time probably you don't understand that terminology, so you don't know that ultimately you have used the RAG. So let me show you now in the context of Copilot Studio that how this entire RAG concept is being used at the Copilot Studio level. So let me jump over here directly to my Copilot Studio agent. So here I am in my Copilot agent, and here I created one agent for handling different sales departments queries. Okay. Now over here you can see that if I open my knowledge source over here, there are different ways to connect your knowledge sources. So when you look at this thing, these are the different knowledge sources you can configure over here, like SharePoint, public website. Even if you are having Azure AI search or Dataverse, you can configure any knowledge source over here. Now any knowledge source which is attached over here in your Copilot Studio, which means that you have enabled the RAG for that. So let's say for an example, if I selected SharePoint over here and I trained my agent. So generally in Copilot agent, whenever you are connecting any SharePoint site or any SharePoint document library, it will be attached over here. Okay. And now if you look at the setting here over here for any kind of SharePoint and those kind of data sources, when you go to the orchestration section, there is an option available over here, tenant graph grounding with semantic search. So basically this option is enabled by default. So this is what it is responsible for RAG result for your AI. Okay. Now in this particular case, what will happen is, let's say for an example, if I'm clicking on test button and if I'm expanding my test panel as well, and let's say this is the sales department query, right? So I'm just making over here that sales for Apple in 2018. Okay. Sales for Apple summary. Okay, I'm just making like this. All right. Now what it will do is, when you do this thing, you can see that the search query started executing over here. It started looking at the knowledge sources over here, right? So you know that real meaning RAG. What it does is it started searching from the knowledge sources. First it searches, gathering, and then LLM will generate the answer. Okay, let's see. So look at this result. So see, finally LLM started generating the answer. But what it did is it combined the different sources which we have trained behind the scene, giving you the proper response and showing you the final result over here in this fashion. And over here you can see that it giving you the reference as well, like from exactly which file it is giving you this particular answer, right? So this is how the RAG with Copilot Studio works. I have created different videos in my playlist already for connecting SharePoint lists, SharePoint libraries, Dataverse. You can always visit that playlist for that. But this is how the RAG concept works in the world of Copilot Studio. Hope that is giving you the clear clarity around that. If you are for the first time to my channel, make sure you hit thumbs up and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to press the bell notification over there. Also, I have started my premium membership. You can simply clicking on the join button from here. You can access lots of premium content. These are all the different premium courses I have launched over there within the same membership. It's just 5,999 per month. It's less than a medium size of pizza pricing. So you can access this full courses over here, like responsive canvas app series, Power Platform deployment pipeline series, Power BI tutorial series. 3 courses are already available over here. Start exploring out premium membership over there. Many members already enrolled over there. It's just a medium size of pizza pricing. Just enroll yourself. It's motivate me in lots of other way. That's fine. If you don't want to enroll for the premium membership, you can explore all this free content available on this channel exclusively. With that note, this is Dhruvin signing off. See you in the next episode with some amazing content. Till then, have a great day. Goodbye.